Welcome, listeners, to the shadowed corridors of history, where the past lingers much closer than a whisper in the night. You are about to embark on a journey through time, where stone walls have witnessed the zenith of power and the depth of human despair. This is not just a tale of kings and queens, knights and rebels, but of the unseen inhabitants whose presence defies the passage of time. Welcome to Echoes of the Tower, a podcast that delves into the spectral heart of England's most formidable fortress, the Tower of London. For nearly a millennium, the tower has stood as a silent sentinel on the banks of the River Thames. It has been a royal palace, a prison, and a stage for some of the most dramatic moments in British history. But beyond the crown jewels and bloody battles lies another, more elusive story. It is said that within these ancient stones, the past is not dead, but merely hidden in the shadows. Tonight, we begin our tale with Anne Boleyn, whose grace and ambition captivated a king and changed the course of history. Yet, her final days within the tower's walls were marked by betrayal and tragedy, leading to her untimely demise. But Anne is not the only soul unable to find peace in the afterlife. The princes in the tower, the White Lady, and countless others roam these grounds, forever trapped between worlds. So, turn down the lights, lean in closer, and let the veil between the past and present grow thin. Join us as we explore the hauntings of the Tower of London, where history whispers from the walls and ghosts walk among us. In the shadow of time, where history and legend intertwine, lies the Tower of London. Its story begins in the aftermath of conquest. In the year 1066, when William the Conqueror, fresh from his victory at the Battle of Hastings, sought to assert his dominion over the tumultuous land of England. It was then, on the north bank of the River Thames, that William commanded the construction of a fortress, a statement of power, a symbol of Norman authority over a conquered people. This was the genesis of the Tower of London, a structure that would evolve from a wooden fortification to a sprawling complex of stone, a testament to the will of a new dynasty. The tower's primary purpose was militaristic, designed to defend and dominate the city of London. Its strategic location by the river allowed for control of the main waterway, a vital artery for trade and transportation, ensuring the crown's grip on the capital. Yet, the tower was more than just a military bastion. It was a potent symbol of the Norman conquest, an embodiment of subjugation, and a clear message to the Anglo-Saxon populace. The old order was gone, and a new reign had begun. As decades turned to centuries, the tower's original purpose as a royal residence and fortress gradually expanded. It became a treasury, safeguarding the crown jewels, a menagerie housing exotic animals gifted from across the globe, and most infamously, a prison its walls, which once echoed with the steps of kings, would soon resonate with the whispers of the accused, the condemned, the betrayed. Within these cold, imposing stones, the line between protector and oppressor blurred. The tower, intended as a shield against the crown's enemies, became a chateau over England, a place where power was exercised in its most absolute and often its most cruel form. It witnessed the rise and fall of dynasties, the intrigue of courtly life, and the silent footsteps of those led to their doom. Yet, as the centuries wore on, the tower accumulated more than just stories of political machinations and royal dramas. It began to gather something else, something less tangible but equally persistent, whispers of the unexplained, sightings of shadows that moved against the logic of light, the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The tower, with its bloody history of execution, imprisonment, and torture, seemed to retain a memory of its past, an echo of the souls who passed through its gates, never to leave. This fortress, which began as a symbol of conquest, has become a monument to the complexity of human history, a place where power, tragedy, and the supernatural converge. As we peel back the layers of time, we find ourselves face to face with the question: what happens when a place is so imbued with history that the past refuses to be forgotten? The Tower of London stands as a monument to these unanswered questions. Its stones, silent witnesses to 1,000 years of human endeavor, ambition, and, perhaps, the lingering presence of those who left their mark on its walls, visible or otherwise. In this chapter of Shadows, where history whispers secrets long buried, we invite you to step closer into the heart of the tower, where the past is alive, and every stone tells a story. But beware, for not all tales end when the last word is spoken. In the Tower of London, some stories are only beginning, echoing in the dark, waiting for the curious and the brave to uncover them. As the centuries unfolded, the Tower of London, that imposing edifice of stone and secrets, began a slow and sinister transformation. No longer merely a symbol of conquest or a military stronghold, its purpose and presence within the heart of London morphed, reflecting the changing tides of power, politics, and paranoia that swept through England's history. In the early days of its existence, the tower served as a royal residence, a place of strength and safety where kings and queens could assert their authority over the bustling city of London. Its walls, thick and seemingly impregnable, offered a sanctuary from the machinations of rivals and the unrest of the populace. It was here, within these fortified chambers, that monarchs held court, celebrated victories, and plotted against those who would dare challenge their rule. Yet, as the glow of the medieval period gave way to the shadows of the later centuries, the Tower's role as a royal residence waned. The monarchs of England, seeking grandeur and comfort beyond the cold stones of the Tower, turned their eyes to newer palaces, leaving behind the fortress that had once been the heart of their power. But the Tower did not fade into obscurity. Instead, it found a new, more ominous purpose. The very attributes that made the Tower an ideal royal residence, its isolation, its defensibility, now served a darker function. It became a prison, a place of detention for those who fell from favor, for enemies of the state, for anyone whom power deemed too dangerous to roam free. Its cells, hidden within thick walls and beneath ancient towers, became the final dwelling for countless souls, from the highest-born nobles to the most common of criminals. But the Tower was no ordinary prison. It was a place where the line between guilt and innocence blurred, where accusations of treason, heresy, and witchcraft could consign one to a fate worse than death. Torture was employed, not so much to elicit confessions as to demonstrate the absolute authority of the crown and the futility of resistance. The very air within its chambers seemed to whisper of despair, of secrets too dangerous to speak aloud. As the years passed, the Tower's reputation grew ever darker. It was a place of executions, where heads fell with the swift justice of the axe, where bodies were displayed as grim warnings to all who would challenge the crown. The Tower Hill, just outside the fortress's walls, bore witness to the final moments of dukes, earls, even queens, their blood seeping into the ground as a testament to the merciless nature of power. Yet, even as the Tower became a symbol of fear and oppression, it continued to guard the treasures of the realm. The crown jewels, symbols of the monarchy's divine right to rule, were kept within its walls, a glittering contrast to the darkness of its dungeons. The Tower, thus, embodied the dual nature of royalty, the splendor of power and the shadow of tyranny. Over the centuries, the Tower of London has stood as a silent observer to the unfolding drama of English history. Its stones have absorbed the echoes of laughter and the murmurs of conspiracies, the cries of the condemned and the silence of the forgotten. It is a place where history is palpable, where the past feels almost within reach, a place that has witnessed the best and the worst of humanity. And so, the Tower stands, a fortress transformed by the centuries, a palace turned prison, a monument to the complexities of power. It is a reminder of the fragility of human life, and the enduring nature of human ambition. But beneath the historical narrative, beneath the tales of kings and prisoners, lies another story. It is whispered in the quiet corners of the tower, in the spaces where the light doesn't quite reach, a tale of those who never left, whose presence is felt but not seen, whose voices are heard but not understood. In the next chapter of our journey, we delve deeper into these tales, into the heart of the tower's darkness, where the line between the living and the dead is as thin as a shadow in the moonlight. Join us as we uncover the stories of those who haunt the Tower of London. Their spectral existence is a testament to the tower's grim legacy. In the tapestry of the tower's shadowed past, few threads are as vibrant or as tragic as that of Anne Boleyn. Her story, woven through with ambition, love, and betrayal, is a testament to the capricious nature of power and a peril of falling too close to the sun, or, in Anne's case, to a king. Anne Boleyn, with her captivating presence and sharp intellect, emerged from the intrigue-laden courts of Europe to capture the heart of Henry VIII, King of England. Yet, what began as a passionate courtship, one that would rend the fabric of the English Church, was destined to end in despair. Anne's ascent to the throne as queen was marked by controversy and opposition, her every move scrutinized by a court rife with jealousy and enmity. Despite her initial influence over the king, Anne's failure to produce a male heir became her undoing. The same charm and wit that had ensnared Henry's heart soon twisted into evidence of witchcraft and adultery in the eyes of her enemies. In a cruel twist of fate, the Tower of London, which had once heralded your coronation, became the stage for her downfall. Imprisoned within the cold, unyielding walls of the tower, Anne Boleyn found herself ensnared in a web of political machinations far beyond her control. The charges against her were as baseless as they were brutal: adultery, incest, treason. The evidence, fabricated and circumstantial, mattered little. The verdict was a foregone conclusion. Anne's fate, like that of so many before and after her, was sealed by the whims of power and the fear of the other. On a somber morning in May 1536, Anne Boleyn was led to the scaffold within the tower's confines. The air, thick with anticipation and dread, bore witness to the tragic end of a queen who had once held the heart of a king. With a grace that belied her circumstances, Anne met her end not with a traditional axe, but with a single stroke of a swordsman's blade, a final, macabre mercy. Yet, it is said that Anne Boleyn's story does not end with her execution. Her spirit, unable to find peace, lingers within the Tower of London, eternally retracing the steps to her unjust demise. Witnesses speak of a headless figure, clad in a gown of silken white, moving silently through the grounds. She is most often seen near the site of her execution, a somber reminder of the fickleness of favor and a cruelty of fate. Others have reported encounters with Anne's ghostly visage, her head cradled under her arm, as she roams the corridors of the tower, perhaps in search of justice, or perhaps simply in search of rest. Her presence is imbued with a profound sadness, a reminder of the human cost of ambition and the eternal search for redemption. The tale of Anne Boleyn is but one of the many stories that haunt the Tower of London, each spectre a chapter in a fortress's storied past. Yet, Anne's story stands apart, a poignant echo of the power struggles and personal tragedies that have played out within these ancient stones. Her spirit, restless and resolute, wanders the tower, a spectral reminder of the thin veil between history and legend, between life and something that is not quite death. As we delve deeper into the haunted halls of the tower, we uncover more tales of those who walk its grounds, bound by their tragic ends to the place of their demise. Join us as we explore the shadows and secrets of the Tower of London, where the past is always present, and the echoes of history are never silent. Beneath the heavy cloak of history that shrouds the Tower of London, there lies a tale so poignant, so wreathed in mystery, that it has become the stuff of legend. This is the story of two young lives cut tragically short, of innocence lost in the dark corridors of power. It is the tale of Edward V. and his brother, Richard, the Duke of York, known to history as the Princes in the Tower. In the tumultuous year of 1483, following the death of their father, King Edward IV, the young Edward V., a boy of merely 12 years, and his brother Richard, just 9, were placed in the Tower of London. Ostensibly, their stay was meant to precede Edward's coronation. Yet, the Tower, which had stood as a royal palace as much as a prison, soon became a silent witness to a grim turn of fate. As the summer waned, the princes vanished from the public eye, their laughter and footsteps fading into the ominous silence of the tower. Rumors swirled like mist on the Thames, whispers of foul play, of treachery at the highest levels, haunted the corridors of power. The man who would emerge from this shadow of suspicion was their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, who ascended the throne as Richard III. The mystery of the prince's fate, whether by his order or another's hand, remains unsolved to this day. The disappearance of the young princes is a story that has captivated historians and storytellers alike, a poignant chapter in England's long narrative. Yet, within the ancient stones of the tower, some say the story continues, that the princes still wander the rooms and hallways where they spent their final days. Eyewitnesses have reported glimpses of two young figures, clad in the attire of the late 15th century, their expressions somber, their presence an ethereal reminder of the tower's dark past. These apparitions, seen playing in a garden or gazing out of the windows, are said to fade as quickly as they appear, leaving behind a palpable air of sorrow and unease. Some have heard the faint sound of laughter, a ghostly echo of the joy that once filled their lives, now lost in the shadows. Others speak of a sudden chill, a sense of being watched by unseen eyes, a reminder of the innocence that was stolen within these walls. The story of the princes in the tower is a testament to the tower's legacy as a place of intrigue and tragedy. Their spirits, if spirits they be, do not rest in peace but linger on, perhaps in search of the justice denied to them in life. Their fate, shrouded in mystery, remains one of the most haunting tales of the tower, a somber reflection on the cost of ambition and a fragility of youth. As we delve deeper into the haunted heart of the Tower of London, we find that each stone, each shadow, holds a story, a whisper of the past that refuses to be silenced. The tale of the lost princes is but one of many, each ghost a bearer of the tower's burden of history, each apparition a reminder of the souls that tread its corridors, caught between the worlds of the living and the dead. Join us as we continue our journey through the tower's haunted halls, where history speaks in whispers and the past is never truly gone. The stories we uncover are a mosaic of human emotion, a testament to the power of memory and the enduring mystery of the Tower of London. In the shadowed annals of the Tower of London's spectral history, amidst the tales of tragedy and betrayal, there lingers the enigmatic figure of the White Lady. Unlike the anguished spirits of Anne Boleyn or the lost princes, her presence is marked not by a tale of sudden violence or political intrigue, backed by an air of melancholy and eternal vigilance. She is an apparition wrapped in mystery. Her identity as varied as the stories that seek to explain her endless watch. The White Lady is most often seen in the vicinity of the tower's White Tower, from which she derives her name. Clad in garments that shimmer with the pale light of the moon, she appears at windows, her gaze cast outwards, her hands sometimes raised as if in greeting or perhaps farewell. Witnesses, especially those of tender years, recount seeing her wave, a silent gesture that bridges the gap between centuries, a moment of connection that transcends the boundaries of life and death. But who is the White Lady? And why does she remain ensnared within the tower's ancient walls? Some say she was a noble woman, imprisoned for a love that defied royal decree, her spirit lingering in search of her lost beloved. Others whisper of a queen, wrongfully accused and executed, her presence a testament to the innocence stolen by the axe. Yet, another tale speaks of a mother separated from her child, her spectral form forever searching, forever waiting for a reunion that will never come, regardless of her true story. The White Lady's appearances are marked by a profound sadness, a sense of loss that is palpable to those who witness her. Her presence is accompanied by a fragrance, the scent of roses, which fills the air and lingers long after she has faded from view. It is as if the very essence of her being is imbued with the memory of what was, a haunting reminder of the fleeting nature of life and the enduring power of love. Children, in their innocence, are said to be particularly sensitive to the White Lady's presence. Perhaps it is their open hearts and unguarded minds that allow them to see what others cannot. Or perhaps the White Lady herself is drawn to the purity of youth, a balm for her sorrowful vigil. Her interactions, though silent, convey a sense of gentleness, a departure from the fear and foreboding that accompany so many tales of the tower's ghosts. The White Lady's story, veiled in ambiguity, adds a layer of mystery to the Tower of London's haunted legacy. Her identity may never be fully understood, her reasons for remaining bound to this place lost to the annals of time. Yet, her presence is a constant, a spectral figure woven into the fabric of the tower's history, a reminder of the many layers of human emotion that have imbued these stones with their unique character. As we continue to explore the haunted corridors and shadowed spaces of the Tower of London, we are reminded that each ghostly tale, each whispered legend, is a thread in the larger tapestry of the tower's past. The White Lady, with her silent vigil and her air of melancholy, is but one of the many spirits that inhabit this place, each with their own story, each a part of the complex mosaic of history that defines the tower. Join us as we delve deeper into the mysteries of the tower, where history and legend intertwine, where the past is always present, and where the spirits of those long gone still walk in the shadows, their stories etched into the very stones that have borne witness to 1,000 years of human endeavor. Within the imposing walls of the Tower of London, where history is etched in stone and sorrow, lies a darker chapter, a narrative woven from the pain and despair of those who suffered within its confines. This fortress, which has stood as a sentinel over the city for centuries, holds within its heart a legacy of torture and execution, a testament to the darkest aspects of human governance and a quest for power. The Tower's reputation as a place of torture is not without merit, for it was here that the state's most notorious instruments of agony were employed, tools designed to break the spirit and extract confessions from those deemed enemies of the crown. The mere mention of the rack, the scavenger's daughter, or the infamous Dower torture chamber was enough to evoke fear throughout the land. These names whispered of unspeakable pain, of bodies stretched and compressed, of the human form twisted beyond recognition in a quest for truth, or, more often, for confessions that would satisfy political aims. Victims of the Tower's torture chambers came from all walks of life, nobles and commoners alike, drawn into the vortex of suspicion that surrounded the throne. Accusations of treason, heresy, or witchcraft could lead one to these darkened rooms, where the only escape was through admission of guilt, whether true or fabricated. The walls of these chambers, if they could speak, would tell tales of bravery and betrayal, of human resilience pushed to its limits, and of the fragility of life under the shadow of power. The Tower's role as a site of execution further cements its haunted reputation. While many met their end on Tower Hill, visible to the public eye as a grim spectacle and warning, others faced a more private demise within the Tower's walls. The scaffold on Tower Green, reserved for those of high rank or for matters of utmost secrecy, saw the final moments of figures such as Anne Boleyn and Lady Jane Grey, their lives cut short by the axe's unforgiving blade. These executions, shrouded in the solemnity and secrecy of the Tower, left a mark on the collective consciousness, a reminder of the price of dissent and the capriciousness of royal favor. The air within the Tower seems to carry the weight of these past sorrows, the echoes of agony and the silent screams of the condemned. Visitors speak of a heaviness, a sense of unease that pervades the ancient stones, as if the ground itself remembers the blood spilled upon it. Tales of ghostly apparitions and unexplained sounds have become part of the tower's lore, manifestations of the unrest that lingers in a place marked by so much human suffering. The stories of the tower's ghosts of Anne Boleyn, the princes in the tower, the White Lady are intertwined with this legacy of torture and execution. Their spirits, restless and bound to the site of their anguish, are a somber reminder of the tower's history, not as a royal palace or a treasury, but as a place of imprisonment and death, where the line between justice and vengeance, between loyalty and treason, was as thin as the edge of the executioner's axe. As we continue our journey through the haunted history of the Tower of London, we are reminded that its walls have witnessed not only the machinations of power and the pomp of royalty, but also the most profound expressions of human suffering and despair. The tower, with its ghosts and legends, stands as a monument to the complexities of the human condition, a place where beauty and horror, history and myth, are inextricably intertwined. Join us in the next chapter as we delve deeper into the tales of those who roam the tower's grounds. Their stories, a mosaic of the past, each one a thread in the fabric of this ancient fortress's haunted legacy. In the heart of the Tower of London, amidst the whispers of ghosts and the echoes of ancient tragedies, there exists a legend as enduring as the stones themselves. It is a tale not of human spirits, but of guardians of a different kind, the ravens. These enigmatic birds, cloaked in black, are as much a part of the tower's legacy as its walls and turrets. Legend has it that should these resident ravens ever leave, both the tower and the kingdom of England would fall. This foreboding prophecy is steeped in the mists of time, its origins as murky as the waters of the Thames that lap at the tower's foundations. Some trace the legend back to the days of King Charles II, when the monarch, heeding the warnings of an astrologer, decreed that the ravens must be protected at all costs. Others suggest that the tale is even older, woven into the fabric of the land's ancient folklore, a symbol of the intertwining of fate and destiny, of the natural world and the human sphere. The ravens of the tower are no ordinary birds. They are the subjects of meticulous care and reverence. Their wings are clipped, not as a cruelty, but to fulfill an ancient pact, ensuring they do not stray far from the tower. The Raven Master, a position of significant responsibility and honor, tends to their needs, ensuring that these avian sentinels are well fed and healthy, their presence a constant within the tower's ever-changing tapestry. The significance of the ravens to the tower's lore cannot be overstated. They are seen as protectors, their watchful eyes and sharp beaks guardians against invasion and disaster. Yet, there is an ambiguity to their presence, a sense of unease that accompanies the superstition. For the legend also implies a fragile balance, a reminder of the precarious nature of power, and a constant shadow of downfall that haunts even the mightiest of kingdoms. Over the years, the number of ravens at the tower has fluctuated, and at times, fears have arisen that the legend's grim prophecy might come to pass. These fears are met with swift action, ensuring that the requisite number of ravens always remains, a testament to the enduring power of myth and the lengths to which humans will go to protect their institutions and their beliefs. Yet, the legend of the ravens speaks to more than just the survival of a kingdom or a fortress. It is a reflection of the human need for symbols, for stories that transcend the ordinary, and hint at the mystical connections between our world and the unseen forces that shape our destinies. The ravens, in their silent vigil, are a link to the past, to a time when myths were woven into the very fabric of daily life, serving as reminders of the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of understanding. The Tower of London, with its long history of intrigue, tragedy, and power, is the perfect backdrop for such a legend. The ravens, with their dark plumage and inscrutable gazes, embody the enigmatic nature of the tower itself. They are a symbol of continuity, of the enduring legacy of history, and of the stories that continue to captivate our imagination. As we conclude this chapter of our journey through the haunted history of the Tower of London, we are reminded that the line between history and legend is often as elusive as the shadows that flicker across the tower's ancient stones. The ravens, in their silent watch, are both a part of this world and a bridge to another, their presence a testament to the enduring power of myth and the mysteries that continue to haunt the human soul. Join us in the next chapter as we delve deeper into the secrets of the tower, exploring the tales that have shaped its legacy, a legacy as enduring as the stones that have witnessed the unfolding of England's history and the ravens that watch over them. in the heart of modern London, where the past and present collide. The Tower of London stands as a testament to centuries of history. Yet, it is not only the stones and relics that bear witness to the ages. The spirits of the past, it seems, are not content to rest quietly. Reports of encounters with the tower's ghosts, sightings by visitors and guards alike, add a chilling layer to its already formidable legacy. These are not merely tales from a bygone era. They are experiences from our own time, reminders that the veil between worlds may be thinner than we dare to believe. Bards, steeped in the traditions of the tower and accustomed to its many moods, have reported sightings that defy explanation. One such account comes from a night when the air hung heavy with fog, a blanket that seemed to muffle sound and distort light. A sentry, stationed near the bloody tower, glimpsed a figure emerging from the mist, a woman dressed in the attire of centuries past, her face etched with sorrow. As he watched, she moved towards the site of her execution, only to vanish as suddenly as she had appeared. This spectre, believed to be Anne Boleyn, is but one of many spirits said to roam the tower, her tragic tale echoing through time. Visitors, too, have shared stories of encounters that chill the blood. In the dim light of the tower's interior, a child tugged at his mother's sleeve, pointing to an empty corner where he insisted a man stood, watching them with eyes that gleamed in the gloom. No figure was visible to the adults present, yet the child's insistence and his description of a man dressed in the garb of a Tudor soldier left those who heard his tale uneasy, the air around them charged with an unseen presence. Another account comes from within the walls of the White Tower, where a group of tourists felt a sudden drop in temperature, a cold that seemed to seep into their very bones. As they huddled closer, a whisper filled the room, a voice that spoke no recognizable words yet conveyed an unmistakable sense of despair. The guide, attempting to dispel the growing fear, could not account for the voice, as no source could be found, and no explanation could suffice to calm the nerves of those who heard it. Perhaps the most unsettling encounters are those reported by the tower's raven master. Tasked with the care of the tower's resident ravens, this individual is no stranger to the lore surrounding these birds. Yet, even he was unprepared for the sight of a shadowy figure that appeared amongst the ravens late one evening. The figure, which seemed to flicker at the edges as though made of smoke, moved among the birds without disturbing them, before fading away into the night. The raven master, though shaken, could not deny the connection between this apparition and the ancient legends that bind the ravens to the fate of the tower and the kingdom. These modern-day encounters with the tower's ghosts serve as a bridge between the past and present, a reminder that history is not merely a series of events to be read about and archived. It is a living, breathing presence, one that continues to influence the present in ways both seen and unseen. The Tower of London, with its deep reservoir of history, tragedy, and triumph, remains a focal point for these encounters, a place where the past refuses to be confined to history books, insisting instead on making itself known to those who walk its halls today. As we draw the curtain on this chapter, we are left to ponder the nature of these encounters. Are they echoes of the past, imprinted on the fabric of the tower? Or are they manifestations of the spirits themselves, reminders of the indelible mark they have left on this historic fortress? The answers may elude us, but the stories remain, as tangible as the tower's stones, as haunting as the history they embody. Join us as we continue our journey through the spectral legacy of the Tower of London, where every shadow tells a story, and a past is always just a whisper away. In the ever-shifting shadows of the Tower of London, where history whispers from the walls, there exists a realm that defies the conventional understanding of time and space. It is this enigma that has drawn ghost hunters and paranormal experts from around the globe, each seeking to peel back the layers of mystery that shroud the tower's spectral inhabitants. Armed with an arsenal of technology and a resolve as sturdy as the tower's ancient stones, these modern-day explorers venture into the heart of England's most haunted fortress, in pursuit of the unknown. The investigations within the tower's walls are as varied as the ghosts that are said to dwell within them. Teams equipped with electronic voice phenomena, EVP, recorders, infrared cameras, and electromagnetic field, EMF, detectors traverse the dimly lit corridors and chambers, seeking signs of the supernatural. These tools, designed to capture evidence of entities unseen by the naked eye, often yield results as intriguing as they are unsettling. One such investigation, conducted under the cloak of night, captured a series of EVP recordings within the Queen's house. The air, heavy with anticipation, seemed to pulse with unseen energy as the recorders picked up what sounded like a woman's voice, whispering a name lost to time. The clarity of the voice, seemingly suspended in the air, left even the most seasoned investigators with a sense of unease, a reminder of the fine line between the living and the spectral realms. In the White Tower, where the echoes of the past are almost tangible, thermal imaging cameras have revealed fluctuations in temperature that defy logical explanation. Investigators, monitoring the screens, have witnessed sudden cold spots, areas where the ambient temperature drops precipitously, only to return to normal without cause. These anomalies, often associated with the presence of spirits, suggest that the tower's inhabitants may not be limited to those we can see and hear. The Chapel Royal of St. Peter ad Vincula, the final resting place of many who met their end on the scaffold, has proven to be a hot spot of paranormal activity. During one investigation, the soft sound of chanting was heard, a spectral liturgy that seemed to emanate from the very stones. The sound, though faint, was captured on recording devices, a haunting melody that seemed to bridge the divide between the 16th century and the present day. Yet, perhaps the most compelling evidence of the tower's haunted legacy comes from the personal experiences of those who dare to explore its depths. Investigators have reported feeling sudden, inexplicable emotions, overwhelming sadness, fear, or despair upon entering certain areas of the tower. These empathic experiences, though subjective, provide a powerful testament to the lingering energy that permeates this ancient fortress. The investigations conducted within the Tower of London offer a glimpse into a world that exists alongside our own, a world that science is only beginning to understand. Each piece of evidence, each unexplained phenomenon, adds to the tapestry of tales that make up the tower's haunted history. Yet, for all that is discovered, much remains a mystery, shrouded in the mists of time and the shadows of the past. As we close this chapter on the ghost hunters and paranormal experts who seek to uncover the secrets of the Tower of London, we are reminded of the enduring fascination with the unknown. The tower, with its rich history and myriad ghosts, stands as a beacon for those who seek to explore the boundaries of our understanding, a reminder that some mysteries are not meant to be solved, but to be pondered, reviewed, and, perhaps, feared. Join us as we continue our journey through the spectral legacy of the Tower of London, where history and mystery walk hand in hand, and the past is always present, waiting to be rediscovered in the shadows. Amidst the ceaseless march of time, where history and legend intertwine, the Tower of London stands as a sentinel, guarding the tales of centuries past. Declared a World Heritage Site, this ancient fortress attracts millions of visitors each year, drawn not only by its architectural grandeur and the allure of the crown jewels, but also by the deep well of history and mystery that it embodies. The tower's walls, steeped in the echoes of triumph and tragedy, invite those who walk its grounds to step into a world where the veil between the past and the present is whisper thin. The designation of the tower as a World Heritage Site is a testament to its unparalleled significance, a recognition of its role not just in British history, but in the narrative of human endeavor. Visitors from across the globe are drawn to this historic fortress, eager to explore its ramparts, towers, and dungeons. They come seeking connection with the past, an opportunity to stand where kings and queens, traitors and martyrs, have stood before them. The Tower of London offers more than just a journey through history. It is a place where legends come alive, where the stories of ghosts and spectral sightings add layers of mystery to the experience. The tales of Anne Boleyn, the princes in the tower, and the White Lady are not mere footnotes in history. They are vibrant threads in the fabric of the tower's legacy, capturing the imagination of those who hear them. As visitors wander through the tower, they tread paths worn smooth by the passage of time. The Bloody Tower, the Traitor's Gate, the Chapel Royal of St. Peter ad Vincula. Each site within the fortress has its own story to tell, whispers of a past that refuses to be forgotten. The air itself seems charged with the weight of history, a silent witness to the joys and sorrows, the intrigues and executions that have unfolded within its bounds. But the Tower of London is not a mere relic of the past, frozen in time. It is a living, breathing monument, a place where history continues to unfold. The beefeaters, or yeoman warders, who serve as guides, are not just custodians of the tower's history. They are part of its legacy, a link to the traditions and ceremonies that have been a part of the tower's lifeblood for centuries. Their stories, infused with pride and a touch of humor, bring the history of the tower to life, bridging the gap between the past and the present. The ravens, too, play their part in the tower's ongoing story. These birds, surrounded by legend, are a living symbol of the tower's mystique, their presence a reminder of the superstitions and beliefs that have shaped the fortress's history. Visitors, captivated by the sight of these enigmatic guardians, leave with a sense of having touched something ancient and unfathomable, a piece of the past that lives on in the present. As we conclude this chapter on the Tower of London as a World Heritage Site, we are reminded of the power of history to inspire, to awe, and to connect us across the ages. The tower, with its blend of beauty and brutality, its tapestry of tales, both splendid and somber, stands as a monument to the complexity of the human story. It invites us to explore, to wonder, and to remember that the past, with all its shadows and light, is a part of us all. Join us in the next chapter as we reflect on the legacy of the Tower of London, a legacy that endures as a testament to the enduring fascination with the places where history and legend meet. and where the echoes of the past are never truly silent. As our journey through the spectral legacy of the Tower of London draws to a close, we find ourselves enveloped in the rich tapestry of tales that have, over the centuries, woven themselves into the very fabric of this ancient fortress. The stories of ghosts and goblins, of tragic queens and lost princes, have not merely added layers of intrigue to the tower's history. They have become integral to its identity, shaping its cultural significance and embedding it firmly in the collective consciousness. The tower's identity is inextricably linked with these tales of the supernatural. They serve as a bridge between the factual and the mythical, allowing us to explore the human dimensions of its history, the hopes, fears, and desires that have animated the lives of those who walked its halls. The ghost stories, with their mix of fear, apprehension, and ambiguity, invite us to ponder the mysteries of existence, the possibility of life beyond death, and the persistence of the human spirit. These tales have transcended mere folklore to become a part of the tower's cultural significance, attracting those who seek not just the thrill of a ghost story, but a connection to the past. They remind us that history is not just a series of events, but a collection of human stories, rich with emotion and meaning. The legends of the tower speak to our deepest fears and fascinations, tapping into the universal themes of love, betrayal, and a quest for justice. Moreover, the ghost stories of the Tower of London have contributed to a broader cultural dialogue, inspiring countless works of literature, art, and cinema. They have sparked the imaginations of writers and artists who have seen in the tower's shadowed corridors and ancient stones the perfect backdrop for tales of suspense and the supernatural. Through these creative expressions, the tower's ghosts have traveled far beyond their physical confines, becoming part of a global narrative that continues to captivate and intrigue. Yet, the significance of these stories extends beyond their entertainment value. They serve as a poignant reminder of the tower's role as a witness to history, a place where the joys and sorrows, the triumphs and tragedies of the past are preserved. The tales of Anne Boleyn, the princes in the tower, and the White Lady, among others, are more than just ghost stories. They are narratives that humanize history, bringing us face to face with the individuals who have shaped your world. In reflecting on the stories of ghosts and goblins that haunt the Tower of London, we are reminded of the enduring power of storytelling. These tales, passed down through generations, serve not only to entertain, but to connect us with our past, inviting us to explore the depths of human experience and the mysteries that lie beyond the veil of the known. The Tower, with its rich history and its legions of spectral inhabitants, stands as a testament to the complexity of the human spirit, a place where history is alive, whispering to us from the stones. As we conclude our exploration of the tower's haunted legacy, we are left with a sense of awe at the depth and breadth of its history, a history that is as much a part of the present as it is of the past. The Tower of London, with its ghosts and legends, remains a symbol of our enduring fascination with the unknown, a place where the past whispers to us, inviting us to listen, to wonder, and to remember. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the shadows and whispers of the Tower of London. May the tales of its past continue to inspire and intrigue as we walk in the footsteps of those who have gone before, guided by the light of history and the echoes of the tales that time cannot silence.